Tonight I'm going to be photographing the Tulip Nebula through my camera and telescope setup in the comfort of my own backyard, not in space. I will be showing you the image that I was able to grab at the end of this video, and I will also be sharing the story of how I got this image throughout the entire video. Even though the Tulip Nebula is what I will be taking a picture of tonight, in this video I really want to focus on beginners, specifically beginners who are struggling in this hobby, who might be struggling in terms of what mount or telescope, camera, anything you might want to use or something that might be useful in astrophotography. One thing I want to focus on is telescope mounts, and I will be showing you guys the varieties of telescope mounts and how to properly polar align your telescope mount so it is able to track the night sky accurately. And I hope this video will really help out with that. My name is Tanner from AstroTan, and welcome to the YouTube channel if you're new. Oh my gosh, you guys, it is a scorching Saturday today, and I actually haven't been out in the backyard in quite a long time, and I low-key miss it, but we're gonna be out here tonight, and the reason for this is because I've just been really busy with life recently. I haven't really been able to edit any videos or film. Now we finally have a clear night in store, and it's actually one of the most important nights of the entire summer in my opinion. So if you're a total beginner in the astrophotography world, the first thing you have to understand is that astrophotography is very, very expensive. And yes, I'm being serious, I'm not lying. Astrophotography is one of the most expensive hobbies out there. It is no cheap hobby, but it all comes up to how much you want to spend on the hobby. See, tracking mounts that are able to track the night sky accurately and get those sharp stars over those long exposures need mounts that require hundreds of dollars. Even the smaller tracking mounts like the Skywatcher Star Adventurer 2i is even around $400, and trust me, you get what you pay for. But I completely understand astrophotography is a very complicated, advanced, and overwhelming hobby, and it does take time to adjust and learn new things. Even though I have my complete setup now, I'm still learning new things every single time I go out in an image. Like if it's a new target, I never know what exposure or what settings I need to use for my camera. Another thing, I just got PixInsight, and it's been taking me a long time to figure out everything in PixInsight, the editing software that I use to edit all of my astrophotography images. So the moral of the story is that if you're a beginner, you are not alone in this hobby. Everyone is always really confused, everyone's always learning, and it's okay to ask questions, it's okay to look at tutorials on YouTube. You don't have to do this thing all by yourself. So without further ado, guys, if you've been here, you already know what's about to happen. Let's get set up. Alright you guys, so the mount that I have today is the Ioptron GEM28, and GEM stands for German Equatorial Mount, and the 28 stands for 28 pounds, which means how much the telescope mount can actually hold. So up on here, this is only about 15 pounds, so this is plenty that this mount can handle. It can handle even a lot of bigger telescopes, maybe like large Newtonian reflector telescopes. So you might notice that there's a lot of wires and even this little hand controller here, and I'll explain what all these mean. When they say that this is a computerized German equatorial mount, think of it as literally a computerized telescope mount. You'll see in a lot of just regular telescope mounts that they have tripods just like these, but this one is designed for taking astronomical images of space, which means that they have gears built inside of them that will actually track the night sky accurately without you having to do anything or even touch it an ounce. This little hand controller keypad here is actually for putting in coordinates and things that you want to look at. So let's say you want to look at Saturn through your telescope. Well, all you need to do is just search it in the hand controller and it will automatically point to it for you. Before you do this though, you will have to perform something called a star alignment routine, which means pointing your telescope at 3 different bright stars based on the geographical coordinates that you plug into your mount upon turning it on. Now, if you have a little bit more experience, you can actually plug this into a laptop and get imaging from there, like third-party software like Nina, where you don't need to do this. But if you're visually observing or just want something that's quick, you can just focus all 3 of these stars in the middle of your telescope and it will automatically generate a sky map based on your location. So actually, before you do any of the steps that I just told you, you will have to polar align your telescope mount. Now, what does this mean? Well, polar align means polar align your telescope mount with the North Celestial Pole. If you're in the Southern Hemisphere, things are a little bit different. I don't really know much of how the Southern Hemisphere people work out that issue, but I do know how the Northern Hemisphere works. Luckily, we have a star called Polaris in the night sky that is actually right next to our North Celestial Pole. And the theory behind this is that if you polar align your telescope to the North Celestial Pole, or Polaris, your telescope mount will be able to track all the stars in the night sky accurately without having to move anything. So you might see that on your tracking system that you might have latitude adjustment markers or even some bolts. And these are for adjusting your telescope mount head's position to actually find Polaris in your polarscope reticle. If you don't have a polarscope reticle, you might have to do this electronically or just get a rough idea of where it is. But if you're using a star tracker or a wide field of view, you won't really need much of a precise polar alignment, just really get something in the ballpark. So there's an app on your phone that you might want to get to help you actually find Polaris in your polarscope reticle called Polarscope Align, or for short PS Align. You can find this on the App Store. It is completely free, and it will even show you a lot of the different styles of polarscope reticles used by different telescope mount brands. So once you have all that installed, all you have to do is just take a look at your phone, see where Polaris is supposed to be in your reticle, and then just use your eyes and adjust all those little knobs until Polaris is perfectly in view and ready to go. Alright you guys, now that we got a lot of the basics figured out for what we're going to do tonight, I want to talk about my target that I'm shooting tonight, the Tulip Nebula. Now it's actually called SH2101, and there's something a little bit special about this target. There's actually a black hole right next to the Tulip Nebula. Now you actually can't see the black hole, but you can see what it left behind, or I guess what it's currently doing. See, this black hole is actually ejecting mass amounts of nebulosity just out into space due to its gravity, and we can actually see a lot of that when we're taking our pictures. It is a little bit on the fainter side of things, but it's really just a nice touch to see inside of this Tulip Nebula. No matter how many times you guys can tell me to stop shooting targets in Cygnus, I will never stop, because this is actually located in the constellation of Cygnus. Now I promise in the wintertime this will all change. Cygnus will be completely gone, so don't worry about me using Cygnus a little too much in these images. But it is an H2 region mostly, and with my big camera sensor I will actually be able to reveal a lot of the wider areas of the Tulip Nebula. Not just the Tulip Nebula itself, but just a lot of the areas around it. There's a lot of cool dark nebulosity around there too, H2 and hydrogen alpha red light that my camera will be able to detect. Since it's a hot night, of course I'm going to be using my cool astrophotography camera, the Player One Artemis C Pro, to really maximize on getting that sensor temperature down to cold temperatures so I will not have to deal with as many noise in the image. I actually shot this target last year at my Bortle 3 lake house, but instead of using my cool astrophotography camera, last year I actually didn't have that, and it was actually a little bit difficult to get a picture of the Tulip Nebula because a lot of that faint hydrogen alpha that we want to get really packs a punch in these kind of images, and I wasn't really able to get much with my stock DSLR. Now, like I've said in many videos, a stock DSLR is still awesome, but in some scenarios, just using a better camera, like a cooled astronomy camera, might just be a better option for some targets. Besides all the typical stuff tonight is actually a special night. Tonight is the peak of the Perseids meteor shower. It's actually tonight and tomorrow, so if you're watching this video whenever it comes out, it probably already happened. But I hope you guys are out there to see it whenever you see this video. I know I will definitely be out here tonight taking a look at a lot of these bright meteors because it's new moon right now, almost new moon at least, and you're going to be able to catch a lot of meteors even despite a lot of the light pollution. You will actually be able to see quite a lot of the few bright ones. So if you're out and you're just not doing anything tonight, make sure you stay up at least. Come on, it's a Saturday night, you gotta stay up for this. I also want to say thank you guys so much because recently we hit 100 subscribers, and it is a huge milestone to finally hit 100 subscribers. And when I started doing this YouTube stuff, I had no idea that it would actually take this quick to reach 100 subscribers. And I'm trying to be one of the big guys out here. I'm trying to help as many people as I possibly can in the upcoming videos. And I absolutely love just sharing this experience of actually being out here with you guys and not just by myself, because most of the time I'm setting up, I'm thinking and doing all this planning all by myself. But now that I can actually talk to you guys can kind of be here with me. So I want to say thank you guys so much for the support. It really means a lot, and it really helps, especially with a small channel like mine. It really does mean the world to me that you guys actually watch my videos. So now I think it's time to finally get the wires on and start to plug things in and get ready for tonight, because it's gonna be a good one. I'll see you guys when the sun goes down. Alright, you guys, we're back and it is 12:28 in the morning right now. And I'm going to be completely honest with you, this Perseids meteor shower is pretty insane. So I hope that whenever this video comes out, you guys will actually have been outside, because it is actually, I've been seeing a ton of meteors streak across the sky, even in my light polluted backyard. So anyway, right now we are imaging the Tulip Nebula. I was actually gone for a couple hours. I wasn't at home, so my telescope has been tracking and imaging the Tulip Nebula for a few hours now. And I plan on doing this for the entire night. I want to maximize the exposure on this one, because Cygnus X1 is actually a little bit dim, and you kind of need a new moon for that anyway, so. I've actually been looking at Saturn and Jupiter in the sky right now, and it really looks tempting, so I might actually take a look at the planets tonight too, since Saturn is actually really close to opposition soon, so just seeing Jupiter and the planets again really blows my mind. Now I know these vlogging conditions are not really the best right now, but I just really am enjoying it out here tonight. This might be one of the best summer nights that we've ever had in the backyard, and it's really quiet, and I'm trying not to talk that loud, but it is just gorgeous out here, and I wish I could be under here all night, and I might even pull an all-nighter, to be honest. Come on, it's a Saturday night. I gotta pull an all-nighter. What do you guys think? But, yeah, just the feeling of just imaging a nebula in space right now, watching the meteors go by, and just seeing the planets in the sky really is just insane to me. Like, I never thought that I would actually just be able to see all these things up until this point, and it's just awesome just to be living right now, to be living and being able to do what I do. So I hope that I can impact some of you guys out there who want to hopefully be able to do the same thing as I do, and I really encourage you to do that. So this is going to conclude the video, and now time for the image reveal.